How's it going, neighbors? We are back with the weekly updates. Before we go over the buffs and nerfs this week, let's cover what we missed last week. Children of the Sun, the first part of the Varlamore quest series, was released. You can start it in the center of Varrock. Only requirement is to be a member account, and it'll prime you for access to Varlamore once it's released later this year. And alongside that, we also got Karen changes last week. The favor system has been entirely removed. Transport around Karen has been improved. Minecarts are unlocked from the start and now only cost 20 GP. They can be used for free if you've completed Forsaken Tower quest. There are a ton of new minecart stations that have been added to Kingstown, Farming Guild, Karen Woodland, the Wintertalk Camp, and the Shazian Wall, and near the Tithe Farm. As well as there also now being charter ships in Port Piscarilius and Land's End, and the Arceus Ferry Ring no longer needs to be fixed to use it. You can get your money back from the nearby NPC if you've already done that, as well as adding another ferry ring near the Hosidius Vinery. The Karen Castle teleport got some changes. It now only needs level 48 magic instead of 69 to use. It is unlocked by finishing the easy quest of Client of Karen. We can now make teleport tablets for it in the player-owned house, and it is cheaper to use. And the Memoirs got a buff to hold more charges overall. It changes up the spells a little bit, but the main thing I've noticed people complaining about is High Alchemy now goes from the right side over to the left side. That's pretty much it from last week, but I think the main update is going to be that the engine change has made the player-owned house no longer have an effect on loading times. You can have it as large as you want to and it will load the same as if you had it minimized. And now we can go ahead and switch on over to the other thing that we missed. Say goodbye to a classic, the forums are being shut down. Starting on January 25th, you will no longer be able to add, they will be moved to read-only mode, and they are going to be entirely removed on March 28th. With its removal, we can interact with the JMods using Discord, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and the old school subreddit. And with those out of the way, that brings us to the Scythe and Fang changes. The Fang is finally getting the nerf that they've been talking about. We decided to solidify it as a stab weapon, removing the double accuracy roll from the slash combat style. I can't complain, that seems totally fine, and it's still an extremely strong weapon. But alongside that, the Scythe has been buffed. You got a 15 slash accuracy increase, so you can expect a DPS increase of about 0.2% to about 7%. It is also now cheaper to charge at costing 1 vial of blood and 200 runes for 100 charges, as opposed to 300 blood runes. And you will save charges more often, since charges are now only used when the Scythe rolls at least one hit above a 0. So as long as it's a 0, you won't lose a charge. These are only the first 2 updates out of the project rebalance. The rest of it is still being worked on, and we will hear more news about it soon. They're updating the Jagex Launcher again. Come tomorrow the 18th, players are going to be required to log back into the launcher with a Jagex account. So if you're already doing it, you'll just need to re-sign in using the Jagex account credentials. And if you're using the Jagex Launcher but signing in with a RuneScape account, you will be required to upgrade to a Jagex account to use it. It should look something like this, and you'll just have to click the little upgrade now located in the bottom. This is only affecting the Jagex Launcher, so if you're still playing using RuneLite or HDOS using your account, you should still be able to sign into those normally. And finally, that brings us over to the Winter Summit giveaways, just to bring more attention to the summit that is going to be happening on January 20th. Looks like you'll be able to get yourself an Elvarg, King Black Dragon, or the new Vorkath plushie. Also giving away copies of the board game Shadow of Elvarg, the tabletop RPG. And finally, they're going to work with Creator Crafted to do some giveaways of their neon light designs. Not too much happening in other changes. Leagues 4 has been imported. Eel loots are now tracked in the tracker. Calphite Layer's agility shortcut will tell you how long it's been since somebody's been in there. Children of the Sun got some updated dialogue so you know what to do in one of the steps more clearly. And finally, now that Lovakite is almost useless, the Skill Cape and Varrock armor will now give the bonus XP if you mine an additional ore. We'll finish off with the PvP world rotations. Feel free to pause the video and look over it if you want. And that's going to wrap it up for me. Couple of short sweet game updates to start off the year. Not really too much at all changed during the run of the league. And our comment highlight today is going to go to Nukem Dukem over on the Galvec Practically Guaranteed guide. Looks like so far we're successful in getting people into bossing. I like to think it's mostly because I just don't overwhelm the learners with too much information. As always, I'll leave the link to the blogs in the description if you want to check them out for yourselves. and I hope you have a good rest of the day, you guys.